Hi everyone, and welcome to the weekly Scopes. From the 23rd of October to the 30th, we have got a lot going on. We've got Saturn going direct, we've got a partial solar eclipse, and some other things going on with Venus. So yeah, I'm just going to jump right in. So yeah, on the 23rd of October, Saturn is going direct, as I said. So the key themes of Saturn going direct is getting honest about your obstacles and self-doubts, insecurity, self-destructive thoughts and habits, moving forward, breaking free from the restrictions that you have been experiencing while Saturn's been in retrograde. You may have had blocks in your plans to move forward, but now that Saturn's going direct, these are going to be loosened a bit, and even if the obstacles are there still, Saturn direct gives us the opportunity to keep on going, applying structure, routine and consistency to reach our goals and improve our lifestyle despite the obstacles. So also when Saturn goes direct, we're going to see rewards from either things done well or badly. So the decisions we've made while Saturn's been in retrograde will come back to us. If they've been good decisions or even if they've been bad, you can still get through. It's mind over matter, isn't it, really? And I know that may be flippant to say, but life is kind of crap, and just being honest. But it can be good too when you realise that, a lot of crap things can happen, and the only thing you can really control is you and how you react to the things that happen, and to do your best to try and make Earth a better place for everybody else in it as well. And that's what Saturn wants us to do. It wants us to look at, yeah, you've got these big ideas to get rich or do this, but what about the other people on the planet? And this is why sometimes Saturn allows us to get real, or to stop us from doing things that will actually cause us self-destruction, even though we think that they're a good idea at the time. So yeah, Saturn direct is a good time to plan, to grow on the emotional, psychological, financial, spiritual and physical, material levels, letting go of childish things and habits. What that doesn't mean stop being your inner child come through. What it does mean is maturing to bring your dreams into reality, and just getting a bit real about what you can really achieve in the time you think you can achieve things in, learning from your past mistakes to create a better future, and just reevaluating your finances, learning new skills. Think of ways you can use or you fail to use a sense of power and redressing that, rethinking your commitments and boundaries, and just solving problems. So in a nutshell, Saturn going direct is asking us to move on past our limitations and find a way to achieve the things we have been blocked from reaching when, as I said, it's been in its retrograde phase, and to work with frustrations and to let go of the confusions instead of allowing the frustrations and obstacles to limit you. Try and work with them. And all in all, Saturn wants us to let go of the confusion, that thinking we won't have to make sacrifices or work hard to reach our goals. So yeah, that's Saturn direct. On the 24th of October, the moon void of course starts at 2 minutes past 5 GMT, or times are in GMT. And in general, void of course moon is when some astrologers say it's best to delay important things if you feel like you should. So that's basically the moon isn't making any major aspect like a trine or conjunction, but it still will be making minor ones like Sesquiquadrate, semi-squares and stuff like that. Also on the 24th, the moon comes out of void of course, and at 3 minutes past 10 in the evening, it moves into the constellation of Libra. This energy is best used to work with others, compromising to find solutions, or simply getting work completed quicker. The energy is given to work through problems peacefully, looking for resolutions that meet the needs of everybody involved, instead of being like, I want my way. People are more likely to cooperate. When the moon is in Libra, it's a perfect time to resolve creative or legal or any other partnership matters if you can remain calm, rational and focus on the practicalities, which can be hard to do. You will be able to navigate any blocks to your progress. It may be a good idea to put off essential matters until later if you can't. Keep a level head, and sometimes it's hard to, when things are heated, to remain cool, so some of you may just need to walk away. But This energy also gives you the chance to appreciate things such as music, beauty and nature more, making the Libra moon perfect to start or continue artistic or musical projects. This can be an excellent time to socialise, making your close ones feel appreciated by saying words of affirmation, cooking for them, taking them out, or giving them a gift is how you can make them feel more appreciated. Some of you may be more interested in psychological and emotional issues than in socialising right now. Negatively, people can gossip more and be more distant or outspoken, causing tension in relationships due to a lack of understanding, impoliteness, and being insensitive to other people's feelings. Do your best to remain peaceful, listen to others' points of views and state your wishes assertively, but be thoughtful with your actions and words to reduce conflict. Some people may prefer to be alone during the Libra moon period because of spiritual, emotional or psychological hypersensitivity. The Libra moon supports taking extra time to look after your body and drinking more water, going for health checkups, exercising and doing other things to look after your well-being is favoured. Also, when the moon is in the constellation of Libra, is an excellent time to plant colourful fruits, vegetables and plants and make your garden look brighter. Also perfect to plant heartroot crops such as parsnips, celery roots, water chestnuts, ginger, potatoes and turmeric. So yeah, on the 25th of October, a lot's going on. We've got new moon, partial solar eclipse, and just a lot going on. So yeah, new moon energy is all about new beginnings, even if it's just new ways of thinking about and doing things. When it is a new moon, it's an excellent time to think about new paths to improve your lives, start new projects, look for new career paths, begin new courses and things like that. Rearranging your home or office for comfort and practicality is also a good use of this energy. Nevertheless, it may not be the best time to take practical action just yet. Researching or creating a strategic plan to ensure you will stay consistent in trying to achieve your fresh or continuing goals is the best use of this time if you just feel like you can't go ahead at this moment. Don't underestimate the planning side of things. People are more likely to think independently. Also at this time, focusing on their own priorities so they can be more introverted behaviour and less socialising. Anything started under the new moon is well aspected to be success in the long run. Obviously, if you keep on working towards the goal, it's just not going to magically appear at the sky. So yeah, you have to be prepared to do the hard work to make your dreams a reality. And that doesn't mean working hard. You have to relax and enjoy the journey as well, not just rush to the destination. Negatively, because people can be intensely focused on their needs at this time, there can be an increase in egotistical and selfish behaviour, and at the extreme using controlling behaviour to get your own way, which can cause full-blown arguments as people try to assert their willpower to dominate the environment. The new moon can also be a good time to invest money on your own personal development or long-term investments in the stock or other markets, other ventures, starting a new business, stuff like that, especially those related to food, creativity and entertainment. But always make sure you do your homework, check the facts before taking any risks. Now also on this day at 12 o'clock, there is a solar eclipse, partial solar eclipse, and this happens when the sun blocks out the light of the moon. On the personal level, when this happens on the physical level, the sun dimming out the moon, this can cast a shadow over your plans and bring about a crisis. The effects of a partial solar eclipse new moon typically last for 3 to 9 months, and this new moon partial eclipse takes place in the constellation of Libra, so that's where the moon actually is going to be. And it's telling you to take care of unfinished business and transform the things that hold you back, confronting the lies you tell yourself, especially concerning destructive thoughts, relationships and behaviour patterns, focusing on the plans you wish to make for your future and being honest about the barriers you have in getting there. The main themes of this partial solar eclipse are government upheavals, difficulties in legislation and economy, secrets may be revealed about governments and global finances, the strengthening of global leadership and partnerships or the destruction of them, Increase in cyber and other crimes can also happen, as well as delay in necessary information and laws, and obstacles in all forms of relationships and businesses. Untrustworthy contracts, breaking of legal terms, and disturbances in nature and local environments, increasing conflict within and between nations. On the individual level, problems with health, especially the kidneys and immune system, ankles and other bones, trouble with finances, motivation, energy levels and willpower, conflicts in intimate relationships, possessions, unforeseen costs, and it's best to plan for the rainy day or cut down on luxuries. I know it's hard, cost of living, need to have some fun as well, but if you just plan, save if you can, and I know it's hard as well. In the UK, we've got food banks and other organisations, whatever country you're listening, try and seek out those, or maybe, I know it can be hard to ask neighbours and that, but maybe starting something in your own community to help each other out could be good. And I know we no longer always talk to each other anymore, but you can be one of the forefronts and bringing humanity and especially our communities back together and stuff. So yeah, but on that, all that being said, be careful when creating new relationships, background check, or just any new friends or lovers to avoid scams. But just be wary, because we can't all background checks, but all of you that can do that. Yeah, unresolved trauma can cause emotional, spiritual, and psychological instability and leave you with insomnia and other conditions. It is best to face and not run from any issues. Look for resources and professional help if needed. Remember to be gentle with yourself and know you cannot change the past, but you can learn from it and create a better future. Do all your best to look after your overall well-being and know that even in the darkness of times, and times can get murky and dark for us all right about now, but still the light can be found if you are prepared to make some changes. Some astrologers say eclipses bring bad luck, which is true at times, but as you know, life gives us good and bad, and yeah, but really eclipses and can just reveal things to us that we don't want to know. With Saturn going direct as well, the veil will kind of get lifted, and things that you may have been hidden to you amplifies the risk of that coming out, because Saturn is to do with our karma, is to do with our restrictions. So the reasons why we may have been restricted, or the reasons why we didn't get that lover we wanted, may all be revealed to us right now. And that's because we humans typically ignore external and internal cause for personal growth. Eclipses energy just amplifies any guidance that you've been ignoring. How the eclipse affects you depends on the houses your natal sun and moon are in. Additionally, any aspects involving the sun and the moon, Cancer or Leo, and the 4th and 5th house, as well as any transits involving the sun and moon that are currently transiting your birth chart. So this is just like a generalized interpretation of what this month's solar eclipse means for us all, but we would have to look at your birth chart and stuff to get it deeper. But these are the themes which being highlighted for us. So on a general level, if your natal sun is in the constellation of Libra, this eclipse falls in your first house of your chart, which controls how others see you, your public persona, how you put yourself out there, physical body and health. So these are the things that will be most prominent for you if your sun's in Libra. But if the sun and the moon are in the 3rd and 7th houses of your natal chart, in that case, it will be your intellect, communication, relationships, and other 3rd and 7th house matters that will be most affected during this solar eclipse. So yeah, using any singular planet or astrological events to decide what will happen in your life at any given time will never give you the complete picture, but it can give you parts of it. So at the time of this new moon's partial eclipse, Venus makes a conjunction with the moon and the sun, and Venus is staying close to the sun to around mid-late November. So the spotlight will be on romantic matters, and this energy allows for optimism about love matters. Yet watch out for being too idealistic. This conjunction allows for positive thinking and using actions to conquer challenges. Although money is tight for most people in the world right now, it won't all be a bed of roses. It's not going to be easy. But if you are prepared to cut down on your expenses or get help and make a realistic plan to deal with any money issues, in times things will get better, and I know times are bleak, as I keep on saying, because they are, and I don't want it to be like, oh, positive thinking will get you everywhere, because that's bull crap. I used to believe in stuff like that, but you need to have some action, and just the best medicine I found is to just realise that life is going to be crappy sometimes, and you're just going to have to prepare yourself for those crappy moments, because we're all human beings, and to err is to be human after all. So yeah, and going back to what I was saying, really think about how you can do your part to bring the community back together, or your family. And I know sometimes it's easier said than done, or friends or someone, reach out to someone who can help you if you experience trouble with money and stuff, because sometimes it's not the help that the government, other people say is there, it's not there. So just think about what you can do, and enabling, helping others, or reaching out to others who could help you as well, if they can really help you and not make you worse at this time. Negatively, when the Sun and the Moon conjunct Venus, people can overindulge in drugs, food and alcohol, and be reckless with finances, because just think, well, things are bad anyway, so I just want to, numb myself to it, or just spend money because, life is kind of crap. And at times we have that need to socialise and want to have fun and run from the reality of life. So again, that's the risk, also the negativities of the Sun and Moon making a conjunction at the time of the eclipse. But the best use of the Moon and Sun conjunct Venus is continuing or starting a creative writing, musical or some other artistic project. The Moon trines the Sun and the Moon, which supports that opportunities to progress in life can be found if you look for them. These transits give authority, a sense of purpose, motivation, physical and psychological stamina and confidence to go ahead, regardless of the restrictions, taking the lead in your life and starting a new business or social enterprise, as well as making courageous moves are all supported by this vibration. And just know, we are going into times, they're saying, depression, financial depression, and I had these in the 1920s, and we're in the 2020s now. And in those times, there were people, it was bad, but there were people that thought, what, I'm going to start a new business, I'm going to go against the tide. And these are the people at the end of the depression, what was more financially secure. And I'm not saying it's going to be that easy for everyone, but sometimes we have to kind of see that glimmer of light and look at history to see that our steps forward. That's why I call my project Ancient Future Vision, because I believe in taking the best of the past and the now to make a better future for ourselves. So it's not about disregarding the past, it's about using our past mistakes to become the better. And always, sometimes we're just like, oh, that's the past, that's history, and that's great, we're not meant to dwell there, but we are meant to learn, lessons from history. And if we go back 100 years, as I said, there were lots of stories of people that actually did survive these dark times that are repeating themselves 100 years later. So bold and creative moves are being supported by this Mars trine the Sun and Moon energy. But negatively, arguments can break out due to the influence of Mercury Square Pluto and this trine of Mars to the Sun and Moon as well. So there can be disagreements over religious, national or other beliefs. So try to understand other people's points of view and respect differences. Some people may be more crueler with their words or actions, finding it hard to think positively right now. Listen and remain calm if your buttons are pushed, and if someone does say something that doesn't match your word rule, just try. I know it's going to be hard because it's Pluto, square Moon and Mercury and Sun, plus Mars's quincunx to Pluto, increases the risk of power struggles as people fight for dominance or act excessively or ruthlessly. Pluto's influence here doubles the chance of things going from 0 to 100. So everything could be peaceful, also quiet, like there'll be jokes sung, and then things can just get highly dramatic, intense and manipulative quickly. Even if they were peaceful before, yet this energy at its best can be used to eliminate obstacles and giving you the opportunity to make the change you want to see in your life. The Sun's conjunction with Mercury and Mercury's trine to Mars and Saturn gives the planetary support to communicate effectively. Despite the force of Pluto and the other adverse aspects that make people inclined to not want to listen to others and push their own agenda, this energy gives the foundation to open to new ideas and cooperate discussions to resolve difficulties using common sense, critical thinking and practical action. Mars is square to Neptune and Mercury's Quincunx to Neptune indicates that there can be a lot of distorted thinking, especially going back to the negatives of Venus conjunct the Moon and the Sun, people overindulging in food and intoxicating substances and not getting enough rest. So there can be a lack of clarity. It's best to check facts again because what you see on the surface may not be true. You can misunderstand or interpret what is meant by what is said or done. Nevertheless, Mars square Neptune is a highly meaningful aspect that gives incredible creative energy to overcome any blocks to your artistic expression and personal healing by using psychological and spiritual force to keep going. Additionally, Jupiter makes a quincunx to the Sun and the Moon at the time of this new moon partial eclipse. So some of you will find it easier to support others or find support from influential people to help you with your problems or ideas. And this aspect backs up that it's safe to take a calculated risk right now, gives the power to remain optimistic in these dark times, and confirms that this is the perfect time to start things regardless of external forces. However, it is essential to do your research and watch out for being too enthusiastic, appreciate the minor details and follow procedures to avoid accidents caused by negligence. Mars is square to Jupiter increases the risk of the impulsiveness of words and actions, disrupting growth opportunities, so be careful of what you say and do, and just try and walk away, ignore others if they push the buttons, because we've got this Saturn still making a square to Uranus, which highlights that some of you will have to face a lot of an emotional turmoil over the next few months, and it will be hard for you to see the good in your life. There can be sudden losses and separations for some of you, and your freedom may be restricted in some way. So remember what I was saying going back, that the restrictions may still be there even though Saturn's going direct, but sometimes the best thing we can do is to just keep on going and crawl to our goals if we can't walk, sort of thing. So yeah, rather than let these limitations defeat you, do your best to overcome them. And although it can be hard to work through these challenges and make different plans, because some of you may go through a breakup and you plan this lovely life with your partner and you thought you had your whole life set, or you may lose your job or something like that, and you just be like, oh, my plan's gone to crap. You may have to just think of an alternative route to keep on going. Also, pick your battles wisely to avoid long-term consequences and repercussions from actions and words, because this Saturn square can be really crazy. But yet, it allows for radical transformations gained by working with rather than fighting boundaries. Saturn, and that's external boundaries, obviously don't let anyone cross your internal personal boundaries. So yeah, Saturn also makes a trine to Mercury, providing the power to concentrate on even the most energy draining or boring of tasks, so perfect for practical and realistic action. Also at the time of this new moon partial solar eclipse, the moon and the sun are in the 8th Sabian degree of Libra. The tagline is a blazing fireplace in a deserted home, and according to the late and great astrologer Dame Rodda, this Sabian degree reminds us that even in our darkest moments and the bleakest of times of humanity, there is a spiritual power that is always waiting to be embraced and that can guide you to the best way forward. By doing all we can to understand and heal our emotional and psychological blockages, we can reconnect with our own inner child and centre. This degree reminds us no matter how broken we have become or how shattered our dreams are now, there is a chance to start again if we are prepared to keep on going and get back up after each inevitable fall. As the old saying goes, there is still hope where there is still life. A single dream is more powerful than 1,000 realities. J.R.R. Tolkien. Jupiter's applying conjunction to Neptune provides the discipline for you to think about and carry out practical actions that will be needed to change your life around and develop any intellectual or creative talents you need to reach your highest potential. So yeah, the partial eclipse new moon of the 25th of October is allowing you to do a complete overhaul of your life, choosing a more spiritual and meaningful way of life, transforming how you think, eat, react and act in drastic ways, so you can just make completely just like this is it. I'm not going to do any self-destructive behavior anymore. I'm just going to get on with it and make some progress in my life. But so you do not become too idealistic. And if you want to change and you want them to be long-lasting, you will have to plan first of all, work hard, be gentle with yourself, taking some time out to relax. And the most important thing, you will have to keep on persevering and picking yourself up after each fall, because the falls always come no matter how high you go. So yeah, on the 26th of October, the moon enters Via Combusta. It's also in void of course for a bit, and as I said, this is the time when you should delay things if you feel like they need to be delayed. Mercury also enters Libra. Talked a lot this week, so I'm not going to talk so much about Mercury entering Libra right now. I will next week. But yeah, so yeah, on the 26th, the moon enters Via Combusta, which is the way of fire. It runs from the 15th degree of Libra to the 15 degrees of Scorpio in astrology, and it is seen as a central factor in making predictions. When the moon is in the fiery way, some astrologers think it's best to delay things. Also, it's perfect energy to work through your deep emotions, psychological, spiritual and relationship problems. In my opinion, when the moon is Via Combusta or any other planet, it's an excellent time to be aware of self-destructive behaviours, because you cannot feel the fullness of your life if you have thoughts and relationships holding you back from moving forward to your better days. It's also an excellent time to explore any matter that requires you to dive deep and that you typically numb yourself or run from. And it may not all be all nice and sweet, the things that you dig up right now. But if you keep on going on through the darkness, you can get through it if you keep on working at it and stuff like that. Mercury also makes a trine to Mars today, giving you the energy needed to overcome obstacles and take decisive action to reach your objectives. You can be more mentally alert right now, seeing all sides of any argument or information, giving you the power to make the right choices and find the answers quickly to any problem or query. The power to convince others is given, as well as overcoming any verbal or physical objection to your viewpoints. Negatively, people can try and force others to do what they want with words and actions. Mercury also makes a square to Pluto today, doubling the ability to think clearly, be articulate, and overcome any attempts of manipulation of your thought processes, which can be higher during this transit, as people can use deception and slyness to get what they want. All in all, this energy is great for all forms of persuasive communication, such as selling, marketing. Negatively, some people may be more judgmental, obsessive and paranoid than normal, as there can be more psychological disturbances that interfere with your ability to stick to your routine. On the 27th of October, the moon enters Scorpio, and people may become more diligent and make a practical effort to improve their home environment. When the moon is in Scorpio, it's incredible energy to look after your financial and emotional life, pay bills, and ensure your life and other insurance policies are up to date. Study scientific, technological, or intellectual subjects, and practice self-discipline and mood control. If you consciously use the Scorpio moon vibration, you can complete the things you put your willpower to, doing the work to improve your physical, inner, emotional, spiritual and psychological home, as well as your finances can bring extra rewards in the long term if started or continue now. Negatively, past emotional resentments and conflicts involving money and other resources may cause problems in your relationships. Although you may take action to avoid these types of confrontations, you may be forced to deal with them. It's best to admit any wrongdoing and try and forgive others and yourself, and this may be hard to do. Yet remember, we can never change our past, but we can relive it repeatedly in our minds, blocking the new directions we could be walking towards. There can be an increase in jealous or vengeful behaviour. People can be more intent on repaying what they see as past wrongs. People can become more secretive in their behaviours, furthering the tension in close relationships. Esoterically, the best use of this energy is to look after your sexual and emotional health, especially working to understand and let go of any anger, increasing your self-discipline and forgive those you feel have wronged you. If you find it hard to express your emotions, writing them down may help. Some of you may feel like your creative and vital energies are blocked, but getting as much rest as possible is essential to rejuvenate your life force and make you feel more energetic right now. Screaming may be the best for some of you to, have a release and let out that pent up rage, or doing anything, punching the air, or playing some drums, or I don't know, whatever it is you do to release that tension, yeah? Lack of money may also bring you added stress, but it's imperative to consider what you can do and what you have rather than focus on what you lack. It can take much longer to reach your goals due to a lack of adequate resources, but if you keep on trying, you will eventually get there. Although you may be tempted to start new things, it's best to use this moon to finish up old business and projects and resolve old arguments. For gardeners, when the moon is in Scorpio, it's a decent time to plant hard crops and vines such as pole beans, corn, cucumbers, pumpkins, tomatoes, squashes, melons and courgettes. On the 28th of October, the moon leaves Via Combusta, and the moon void of course starts at 7:17 p.m. and stays there until 10:20 p.m. GMT time, and then enters the Crescent Moon phase. The keywords are self-assertion, creativity, focusing on taking actions to make your goals a reality versus thinking about how you can do so. There can also be increased awareness, having breakthroughs in your obstacles, and gives you the ability to learn quickly. In astrology, the waxing moon is the phase moving towards the full moon period after leaving the new moon stage. The waxing phase is the time to start taking slow and steady action in working towards your goals. If you have vowed to start or continue healthy eating, exercising, or any other routine, this energy helps you refocus. Now is the time to start your research if you lack any information that will help you reach your ambitions. Also perfect energy that gives courage, allowing for a leap of faith, supporting others, networking or asking for help from those in authority. Now is the time to build a solid foundation in solving your future success. Also on the 28th, Venus makes a sesquiquadrate to Neptune. At this time, there can be difficulties in all types of relationships, especially intimate ones due to unclear thinking. People can mistake hookup type of scenarios for love, causing heartbreak. All in all, this energy is perfect for all types of creative appreciation and expression, such as creating art or listening to music. On the 29th of October, the moon enters Sagittarius. When the moon enters the constellation of Sagittarius, some of you may have foretelling, visionary dreams or ideas. You may be more restless, seeking independence and adventure, and disliking routine. You may have a keener sense of justice, but it's best to think before you share your insights. This energy gives you the ability to be focused. However, you may forget to take others' feelings and thoughts into account, which can cause disagreements. If you find yourself on edge and more sensitive than usual, you might find that exercising or anything else to release that pent-up energy or emotion will help you relax. You may find yourself paying more attention to politics, finances or cultural activities, especially if they directly affect you or your home life. There can also be an increase in taking trips with family or friends to higher places of learning, or some religious place or some other place that has profound significance to you or your family or friends. People may become more friendly, empathetic, outspoken, honest, ethical and direct more than normal, making things more peaceful in relationships. So people may become more friendly, empathetic, outspoken, honest, ethical and direct than usual, making things more peaceful in relationships. The Sagittarius moon can make people want more freedom, which may cause disturbance in committed relationships. Negatively, people can be more centric, selfish, detached and unpredictable right now. There can also be an increase in disagreements over opinions and ways of life. There can also be legal or some other serious problems due to conflict over belief systems, arguments over the weather. Such is life, hey? There can also be problems with financial transactions and people deceiving others fraudulently to get what they want through professional means. So, this is when, people who are doctors, lawyers and that could trick you. So just double check all paperwork and do your research is the best thing to do. Also, the best use of the moon's energy travelling through the constellation of Sagittarius is to plan any long journeys, be open-minded, look over legal documents, resolve conflicts, and focus on the bigger picture of your education, belief system, and personal development, and taking time out to read or expand your intellect or consciousness in some other way. So this could be from just going to, a seminar or watching some online videos, something like that. You may also benefit from seeking out spiritual, religious, psychological, philosophical or some other form of guidance and exploration. In fact, some of you may become intrigued to the point of obsession with occult knowledge or practices. When the moon travels through the constellation of Sagittarius, it is a good time for those involved in farming or gardening to sprout seeds, harvest, store bulbs and roots, plant or cultivate bulbal fruit plants, and general groundwork is favoured, such as tidying up your garden, digging up weeds, stuff like that. The moonlight of the Sagittarius moon is said to boost the growth of leaves, and planting legumes like lentils, peas and beans and cucurbits such as cucumber, courgette, squash, melons, tomatoes and peppers, and mowing the lawn is also highly favoured under the Sag moon. Also on the 29th of October, Mercury makes a quincunx to Jupiter, and this energy can be used to make decisions and deal with difficult situations. Mistakes can happen due to laziness or carelessness. People can fail to keep their commitments or make promises that they simply can't deliver, and people can overact to what is said or done, blowing things out of proportion. On the 30th of October, Mars enters station retrograde, but I'm going to talk about that next week, along with Mercury in Libra. So on the 30th of October, the Sun makes a Sesquiquadrate to Neptune, which can drive some of you to escape reality in any way possible, attempting to numb yourself to any pain. Self-deception can also be high, as well as controlling behaviour. People can try and block your plans, causing disappointment. Travel, music and art can help you feel more emotional stable and spiritually stable right now. Venus also makes a sesquiquadrate to Mars today, which can make some people blow hot and cold, saying one thing and doing the next, which can cause arguments and at worst endings in relationships. People can come on too strong, mistaking a hookup for romance. At worst, they can be cheating and violence due to uncontrollable emotions and lies. So that's the weekly scopes from the 23rd of October to the 30th. Thanks for listening. Take care.